Hello. Welcome to the stream. Your host today, Peter, otherwise known as Cyberdragon. That's me. So today we're going to be doing. I want to make a quiz game that's like a multiplayer game. So a question pops up, and players will have to select their answer. And once they get it right, move on. And once they get eliminated, get it wrong, get eliminated, and have to wait for the next round. I try to think of ways of doing this in my head, and I don't know if it will work or if it's efficient, but we're going to try a couple of methods to see if it works, and if successful, we can play it on stream and see how it goes. Hey chat, how's everyone? Good to see yous. Thanks for joining. So there are a few ways to display a question to the player. You can either use an NFT frame and post an image of the question as an NFT on Polygon and display it in an NFT frame. It was one of the methods I was looking at doing. We also have using the traditional asker, but the asker is, I don't know if it activates for every player. I think it's only one player at a time, and it also disables the player's movement and requires action to remove it, so I don't like that method. I was thinking of using the banner in the rule system. I don't know if there's a character limit on that with the banner, or how long we can have a question displayed, like in characters. So I'm going to test that out today and see what that's like. But they're the three main methods you could probably use to display a question to players. So I'm going to try that out. Now, answers. To show the answers, so if you had the asker, you can have 4 answers and the player can select their answer using the asker, but I don't think the asker works for everyone at the same time. And again, it's not the preferred method for myself. Another way I could do it is using the HUD. So at the bottom of the screen, you can have HUD system. We can have 4 of them and place our answers there that are color coded, and then the player has to stand on the right tile color based on their answer. And that's the method I'm going to try today and see what happens. Yeah. So let's dive in, and we'll see what we can come up with. So the first thing I want to try is the banner limit. So I'm going to go straight into the rules, and we're going to display a banner, and we probably need a text variable as well. So go ahead here and just call it Q for question, and message will be just to show banner, just for the purposes of testing. Yeah, we'll just do that. We're going to display text, and the duration can be whatever long we want the player to read the question and then answer. It could be 10 seconds. It could be shorter or longer depending on what you want. And then we can set a message on close, so we can do triggers and activations based on the banner timer. We'll play around with that later. So show banner is what we need. So we're going to go ahead and put a numpad down. And that numpad is just going to trigger as soon as the player spawns in. Just to see the banner, pretty much, just to see how many characters it can display. I just want to see if this works first of all. Yep, so we've got new text variable and no text because we didn't put any in. So we'll go to our variable, and we can have just some symbols There we go, that's good. Now let's see how many we can put here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's as many as we can do. It's cut off there. So let me just quickly check that. Alright, so we've got quite a few characters. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 57. It might be 56 characters long for the banner display. So that's what we have to work with. So if we're going to have questions, it can't be that big of a question. So that's our limitation. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, yeah, 57 characters, which is an odd number. I don't know why it's 57, but it is what it is, and that's what we need to work with. So it will be good for like math questions and simple word ones that don't require long sentences. So that's what we can work with, and there's no issues. So we're going to go ahead and add a set text value, and this is how we're going to change our the text for the question. And we need to have a random number generator so we can randomize the question so it's not the same each time. I think the dog wants to come into the room, so bear with me one moment. Hi Cece. Come on, under the desk, sit down. Sorry, got a new puppy and she's sleeping outside my room and wants to come in, so I had to get her. Alright, so yeah. Alright, Tom Voxel says it could be max pixel width instead of number. Okay, we can test that out actually. So what we can do here is just do what, ones? Would that be thinner? Or maybe even 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 and spacebar. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, it is definitely character. It looks like it's exactly 57 as well. So that is shorter in width, but it's still the same amount of characters. So it's definitely a character length. So that's what we've got to work with. And I don't know how we're going to piece this together, but we're going to try with colored floors. So that will be our answers. Based on color. Now we can train ChatGPT, give you questions with max characters. That's a good idea. And I subscribed to ChatGPT the other day. So I've got number 4. And that should give me better questions. Alright, so we need some block colors. We do have a tile that changes colors, which is this one and this one. So we've got a couple of different choices. And this one is less bright when it comes to colors. So if I wanted to say yellow, there's our yellow. And if we did that for this one here, yellow, it's a lot brighter. I don't like the brighter ones, too blinding. It just needs to be a subtle color. So we're going to stick with this. And what we can do here is to widen just want everything to be lined up easier, so I activated the snap. And what we can do here is just add yellow. There we go. Infinite loop. And we need to have a tag. And then we can duplicate that. Duplicate. And duplicate. We can get rid of that. So on start, we should see a big yellow square. Yes, we do. Of course, there's a small gap here, but we will fix that. 40, 40, 43, and 43. And that should be fine now. Alright, cool. Now we need one for blue, one for each color pretty much. So this one here will be blue. And we probably need to change this individually. And then highlight and change the tag. We duplicate and we'll give this one red. And these will be the spots that the players will stand on to associate their answer. And the last one would be green. Alright, something like that. Just want to make sure that everything's lined up. They kind of don't snap in this version. That is fixed in 0.10, so won't need to worry about that in the future. But that looks good now, and that should work out well. And we can use that as our spawn point where players can there we go. And that will be where the players stand, and we'll remove the floor, and basically players will fall into lava if they get the answer wrong. Something like that. And because the shortcut keys kind of changed in 0.10, I'm still getting used to 0.9 again, holding down Alt to rotate. Okay, so that's our platform where the game will take place. We can clean that up later, it's not important right now. We'll go ahead and save that one and just make sure that the colors stay when we play. Yep. Okay, so this will be our small playing field. I don't need anything bigger than this for this example. And next we're going to put a barrier around the edge of this field so players can't jump off, and they're kind of restricted to being in those squares. And we have a wall here. We can just put this up and make it invisible, but keep collisions on so the players can't walk through, but they can't see it. And to stop the whole the camera glitching, I'll probably have a fixed camera for this game. We just want to get to the edges so it doesn't disturb the movement. Still getting used to the rotation being different, but that's okay. Just a minor thing. Alright, so now we have our capsule, and next we want to put down a wall down the middle of the selections, and the reason being is you don't want players to be able to jump from one tile to another on the very last second, so you want to kind of let them make their choice and trap them and then reveal the answer, and then dump the people that are wrong and keep the people that are right. And what we can do here is we'll give it a tag, and this one here will remove collisions and add collisions as the timings are appropriate. And we have our tags here as well, so I'll go ahead and save that, and then we'll add some actor properties which will deactivate the floor, both collision and visually, according to the answers of the question. So next we will grab our numpad, we'll make it invisible, we'll give it an actor property, and we'll make sure it covers the whole area, and we don't have to worry about positioning it, it can just live here. And what we want to do is the collision and visibility. So what we can do is fixed, and we'll say yellow dot correct, and if yellow is correct, we want to specific tags to remove the collision and visibility of blue, red, green. I will put yellow just so I can duplicate this asset a few times, and then we don't have to type it all out again, so we'll get rid of yellow. If yellow is correct, here we can have blue correct, and we'll get rid of blue. This one here we can have red correct, and get rid of the red tag, and the last one should be green correct, and we get rid of the green tag, and then we can duplicate this one, and then we're going to add green again. We're going to activate the collision and visibility, and we can say new question. So new question will pop up, and all the tiles will come back up again, and we can remove the inner middle walls. So So we need to have middle walls kick in with new question. So we'll duplicate that. New question will edit, and we want to affect middle walls. We don't want to see visibility. We just want to see collisions, and the collision will be false. So when a new question pops up, the middle walls will have their collision removed, so players can go through. At the same time, the tiles are revealed, making it all work in unison. We need this middle wall to have a collision as well. So what we can do here is duplicate and end question, and we can make the collisions true for middle walls. So end question can happen when the banner disappears. So we can have end question. So after 10 seconds, the banner disappears. It makes the middle walls have collisions, which means that players have to have made their choice and they're stuck wherever they are at that point. So that should be fine. I'll go ahead and save that. And I think we have the basics of our battlefield. We do need something to kill the player. We'll do that in a sec. And then we'll start working on our questions. So here we can have a checkpoint. And I'm going to remove this out of here. And we will set up a teleport system and a lobby system as we have done in the past. And we'll keep this on for now. So what we'll do here is we'll set up a checkpoint and a volume, and the players here will just need to spawn, say CP1 for checkpoint 1. And that will activate this one here. So when players die, they get teleported back here. And we probably need to change the camera so it is angled and locked, something like that. And the lava as well. So player, controller, components, and we want damaging blocks to be the lava. So when the player falls in, it will kill them. Block damage can be 200, and that should kill the player and bring them back to this checkpoint. So I'll save and jump into lava and make sure that works, and then we'll teleport the player into the battle and begin setting up the questions. Okay, that seems to work. Cool. No issues. Now we want to teleport players into the battlefield. So we will just set up a cup. And a cup will be collected and teleport the player into the battlefield. We can make this collectible. When it's collected, we say player 1 with message arguments, and that will be 1, and broadcast type will be the rules. And we'll go to gameplay. We're going to create a variable. It's going to be local, and it'll be player number. We'll create, and we'll have a rule where we add and subtract, or we can set number value. And we don't need player 1 here as the message. I'm a silly goose. We just need player number. And then we can add player number as 1. And now we can just use that as player number. And we can select player number as the local variable. And it will be the message argument. So the player number will be individualized when a player picks it up, and we can use a rule to show that. So the HUD display variable true, and we can have this one positioned on the left in the number 1 position. So now we should see our player number, and when we pick up the cup it will say player 1, so that's all good. Alright, so that all works, and we want to TP the player into the battlefield. So when player 1 is set, we can, how do we do this? Was it compare numbers? Probably was. So player number, and if it equals to 1, we can say TP1. We'll have no collisions, and we'll get rid of that. We'll add the teleport, and this will be TP1. We'll call this TP1, so we can find it in the spawn point as TP1. And we'll make it instant teleportation. And now I think when we collect the cup, it should TP us to that location. And now we're in our small platform area where we can now walk on our selection. Cool, so that works. Next we need a HUD for the answers at the bottom. So what we need is a text for A1, and that will be global. Text for answer 2. Text for answer 3. And text for answer 4, as we're going to have 4 answers. And that will be at the bottom. What we can do here is the name of it here can be color equals blue. Something like that. Blue here can be color equals red. And we'll just say red. Next will be color equals green. We'll say green. And color equals yellow. And that will be yellow. And we want to display this at the bottom as well. So this will be 4. This one here will be in position 3. This one here will be position 2. And this one here will be position 1. I'll go ahead and save that and we'll test it out, see what it looks like. Okay, you can see at the bottom blue, red, green and yellow. The text is quite small. I thought it'll be bigger than that. We can probably change that too. Let's see if it works. Size equals 40. Yeah, that might work. Let's see what it looks like. It's so big, I don't think it displays it. Let's see if we can get a sweet spot. So I guess we need to start again, because once it adds it in, it doesn't let us change it. So we've got blue, and this size equals 20. And let's see if it allows size 20 in a banner. It does, but there is no difference really in the size. We'll keep it as is. Maybe we can use the marker instead. So what is it? Is it mark equals blue? Does that work? That's a highlight, so that doesn't quite work. It was, let me check that up in a moment. Let's see if I can find it. Just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Okay, here we go. So color, mark, A, mark, color. So maybe it doesn't work for in the banner, but it would work in the readable area. So let's test that out. Okay, well, that kind of worked there. Did I destroy it now? Okay, that's good. Maybe if I have blue instead, let me get a text notepad out. So can I change this to blue? It's only green. Oh, is that because mark is also green? Alright, let's see if this equals blue. Can I get that working? So only green works, so not the blue one. Is that because it needs a hexadecimal code? Maybe. Blue hex code. Let's Google that. So blue is 000FFF. 0000FF, and we'll probably put that here as well, and we'll see if this changes anything. There we go. So that does work. Okay, so we've got our blue bar set of the color. name, which is probably better. So let's see if we can expand that even more. And see if that's enough to fill up the bar. Yeah, that's perfect actually. Alright, so that's it for the blue. And we need one for red. So I'm just going to Google red hex code. So that is FF0000. So we're going to copy that into our rule system under number 2. I should put the color here just so I can see in the rules which one's which without needing to worry about it too much. Cool, that's good. This one here is green. So we're going to say green hex code. And that one is 00FF00. Okay, so this one should give us our color green. Excellent. And now we just need yellow. And yellow is 4 Fs and a 0. So we'll copy that. Alrighty, nice and easy. Thanks Dankoi for that. I just took the code from your X post to make my life easier, so thanks for that. Give it a like. Alrighty. So next, we can tab and have a look. And we have our color, and we're going to have our answers under the color so players can see which one they need to stand on to select their answer. Cool, we're getting our basics happening, so that's good. We want this to be an 8-player game, or maybe even more. So we're going to duplicate this and just have enough in here so players can all join without any issues and all have their own allocated number and teleport positions, since we can't mass teleport to the same teleporter yet. Might be fixed in future versions. I haven't tested that, but we're working in this one for the moment, so we got to use what we have. So TP5, TP6, okay, TP7, and TP8. We'll make it a 10-player game. TP9, and the last one, TP10. Alright, so we just need 10 of these. and for each player it will check the player number and then teleport the player in the right position. And you can see how quick and easy it is to set up once you know how, and it's really easy to add additional spawn locations and extra players. So 6, 7, 8, and we can spread these out properly later on. 9, and the last one here is 10. Cool. Let's go to our rules, and we just need to duplicate these locations as well. So it's going to be TP Control C, so that's TP2, and it's going to be 2. This one will be 3, and it's TP3. And this one will be 4, and this will be TP4, and this will be 5, and we TP5, and this one will be 6, and we TP6, this one is 7, and we have TP7, this one will be 8, TP8, this one will be 9, and we TP9, and the final one 10, and we TP10. Alright, so we've got our 10 teleport locations, 10 collectibles, and all the rule system as well. So when we pick up a cup, we teleported to the battlefield, and that should all be good. We'll test it out after the save. And we don't need this anymore. This save's taken a while. There we go. And it takes us to the right location. Cool. Alright, we don't need this show banner anymore, I don't think. Oh, we do, but we don't need this question banner, but we'll bring this down, and we need an RNG system, and we need a roll number. Okay, so we'll bring this here and we'll put the banner underneath. So we say RNG Q. So we're going to roll a number between how many questions we're going to have. So we're going to have, for this example, we'll just have 10 questions, and the number we want to roll for is RNGQ, and the message to send will be compare.rng. And what we need to do is, again, it's the same thing. We need to compare numbers. So we're going to compare RNG, and the number we want to compare is that, and if it equals 1, we want Q1, and that will display Q1. If it equals 2, we're going to display Q2, and you just need to do this for each one. So if you're going to have 100 questions, it's not going to work out too well for your grid space, and I don't think in version 0.10 there is no real difference in this sort of logic setup. It would be nice to send individual messages out based on the number roll built in to the rule system, or something of that sort, but we just got to work with what we have for the time being. Things are improving bit by bit. So we've got Q8, Q9, and 10, and we have Q10. So when we send a message RNGQ, it will roll a number between 1 and 10, and then it's going to check which one it is. And if it's a 6, it will send a message Q6, and then we can have a text variable based on the result. So we have Q1, then we have our question here, and then we can have the question, something of that sort. Wombat Gamers, thanks for the raid. A party of 96. Hey, that's crazy. Welcome. That is quite a lot of followers. So for those that just tuned in, we're making a battle royale multiplayer questionnaire game. We're just setting up the basics for it now. Basically, we're going to have a 10-player game where you hop in. The question will be displayed above where all the eyes are, and you got to select your right answer before it disappears, and then based on your answer, see, I'm trapped now. This is my answer, and the right people will live, and then the rest will fall into the lava and be eliminated. So that's what we're looking at today. So we're just going to set up our questions. And what we can do here is, instead of having a text for every single one of these, we can just have a main one. So we're going to say set Q, and that Q will be text, and we're going to use a message argument to set the Q. So we're going to use the Q1s as a message broadcaster over here. So what we do is we'll have no collisions, no visuals, and we'll add a message broadcaster. And what we'll do here is when we get Q1, we're going to send a message to the rules, which is set Q, and then we can have our question here. So we can say question 1, and we can duplicate that one, and we'll do them in order. So this will be Q2, Q2, duplicate. This one here will be question 3, and this one here will be Q3. And this is where you'll be putting your questions, pretty much where this field is. Q4, and this will be question 4. Q5, question 5, this is Q6, Q7, question 7, question 8. Obviously you want more than 10 questions in a game like this, but this is just for a starting working example, and we can always expand on this. Can you please laugh manically every time you say, and the rest will be eliminated by falling into the lava? No, I have to be quiet. People are sleeping in the house. Maybe one day. I'll stream during the day next week, and we can be as loud and animated as possible. It'll be a lot of fun. Alright, so what we'll do here is, we've got show banner. We're going to get rid of that. And what we can do here is have RNG. So we've got show banner, RNG Q. So RNG Q. No, so this one here will be show banner. Where's the other one? Here it is. And this one here can be RNGQ. And we just need to send a message RNGQ. So what I can do here is we'll just have something that's set up. For the sakes of testing, RNGQ. And we'll see if that gives us a random question. So it's given us question 1 as the first response. After 10 seconds, that should disappear. And that's question 8. So as you can see, it works. And now we need to associate the answers to the question at the bottom as well. So if it's question 1, we need 4 specific answers at the bottom. So what we need to do here is have individual texts for Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. I mean A1, A2, A3, and A4. So what we'll do here is we will set A1, and we'll have some text for A1. And we need to have, okay, yeah, this will do. So that's for A1. We can duplicate this. And we'll have set.A2. And we'll have a text for A2. And we'll set that for that. And we just need one for each one. Set.A3. And we have the text for A3. And we'll make sure we select A3 for that one. And this one here will be set.A4. And we'll have our text for A4. And that will be that one there. Okay. So that is good. We'll go ahead and save that one. And then we'll set up the answer messages. And yeah. So if it's question 1, we'll duplicate. And if it's Q1, that's fine. We're going to set A1, and then we have like A1 duplicate. A2, A2, A3, A3, and A4, A4. So when we roll 1, it should show up at the bottom. So Q1 is what we need. So we'll go ahead and just put this as Q1 to test. So when we walk over here, it's put at the bottom our answers A1, A2, A3, A4. So that works. And we need to now tell the system which one is correct and which ones are incorrect. Haven't really thought about this one, so we're going to have to discover how to do that. And then get rid of the right one. So we've got blue correct, red correct, green correct. So we need to associate that with the right answer. So what we do here is So we've got end question. An end question should determine the right answer, but it should be in the rule system before this ends anyway. So if it's Q1, it should know which ones are correct and which ones aren't. So let's see. Maybe true and false statements. We can probably test that out and see. Hey VVox, welcome. So if it is Q1, we should set how do we set the correct answer from the wrong one? So maybe when it's end question, it sends a message to either blue, green, red, or yellow, which then sends a message over here. So blue correct. Alright, so if I duplicate this one, I might have what can I have here? I can have a toggle. No, I can have, yeah, a toggle. And this toggle will be off. It will turn on with Q1. So for question 1, and then when it says end question, we can send the message blue correct to all. And then at the end, it will be a new question. So new question will go ahead and turn this back off. So I think this is the way to do it. And what we can do here is test this out by making that asker, we can get rid of that. Making compare RNG equals 1. So what we can do here is just say C1 for the sakes of testing, and we'll come back and change that. So we'll come here and say C1, and now when we test it, that didn't quite work. Let's see what's going on. C1, C1. That goes to all. We got C1 here. We don't have the equals. So what we can do here, if it equals 0, which it should, because we haven't got a value, hasn't popped up with the answer, with the question, because I think the banner is using a different message. So we'll go over and have a look. C1, and yeah, so this one here needs to be C1 as well. We can change that later. Whoops. I keep changing the wrong banner. That's my bad. Show banner, and we'll come down here and just do C1. Alright, so we've got question 1, we've got the 4 answers underneath. After 10 seconds, the question will disappear, and it should only show the blue square. Almost there. So for some reason, the red is still displayed. Let's have a look what's going on here. So if blue is correct, we want to get rid of red, green and yellow, which is true. And if yellow is correct, we want to get rid of red, blue, green. If red is correct, okay, so maybe these ones have the wrong tag. Yes, they do. So instead of blue, they need to be red. Okay. So we've determined that the question 1, the answer is going to be blue. After 10 seconds, the question will disappear, and everything should disappear except for blue. Everyone will fall into lava. They got the wrong answer. Bring them back out to the lobby. And yeah, okay, so far so good. We'll go back and correct our rule system. 10 seconds is quite a lot. Let's make it 8, just a bit shorter, keep it more interesting. So after question end, we want to have a timer. So end question, we're going to add a timer. It's going to go for, I don't know, say 3 seconds, 4 seconds. And then it's going to be a new question. New question will kick in, which will bring back the tiles that are missing. And then after that, we can do RNG-Q again. So this one should give us a cycle. And we can do this one as RNG-Q. And we'll see if it cycles. And we don't have any thing to get rid of tiles on this one. But after 8 seconds, there should be a couple of second delay, and there should be a new question. Yep, so a new question automatically is done, and after 8 seconds it will disappear, the results will be revealed, and then after 3 or 4 seconds it will do a new question. So that's good. And to make that all work properly, you just need to duplicate each one of these. And these are all Q2, I think, which makes it easy. Yep, so all I need to do here is Q2. I can duplicate this and make this one Q3. Duplicate. Edit. Q4. Duplicate. Edit. Q5. Duplicate. Edit Q6. Duplicate. Edit Q7. Duplicate. Edit Q8. Duplicate. Edit Q9 and duplicate. Edit Q10. Cool. Now here is where you determine if the answer is correct or not. So Q2, and we can say red correct. Duplicate. Q3. I'm going to say green correct. Duplicate. This one here will be Q4, and we can make this one blue correct. Duplicate, edit, Q5, and this one will be yellow correct. Duplicate, this one will be Q6, red correct. Duplicate, Q7, say green correct. Duplicate, Q8, say red correct. Duplicate, Q9, green correct, and duplicate. Q10, and this one here will be yellow correct. Go ahead and save that one, and now it should cycle every question. One tile will remain, the others will disappear, a new question will be added. So let's test that out. So question 2, we have our 4 answers at the bottom, which we can now customize. After 8 seconds, players will have to select the right answer, and then after 4 seconds it resets and gives us a new question to work with. So we've got a few tag issues here. So this one should be yellow, and this one should be green, but it says yellow at the bottom. This one's blue. Okay. So far, so good. So we got the cycle. We got 10 questions, which we can now change the answer to, and answers, and add questions quite easily without needing to change the logic. It's just all here in the numpads. And the question is the top row, and then the answers are the ones underneath. So that's good. And I'm wondering if I can simplify this even further. So can I add a message argument with different answers, or is it always going to be the one? Let me test it out. So I'm going to duplicate this one, and what I want to do here is say set a Q1, and what I can do here is add a text for A1, text for A2, text for A3, and text for A4. And then I can have A1, A2, A3, A4. And what I can do here can I do set AQ1, and the message argument can be for A1, A2. Yeah, so that will work. Maybe I don't need set AQ1, it'll just be set answers, and then I can select a different message argument. So that would be even easier and less as well. So if I do set answers, A1, A2, A3, and A4, and I create, And just do 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4. Come to the rule system. And we can say set answers, and for A1 we're going to do A1, and we can go ahead and delete these ones here, and what we can do here is duplicate it, and we'll say red will be A2 and green will be A3, and duplicate. Okay, that's all jumbled up. So maybe I'll do A2 here, just to keep it uniformal. A3 and A4. So now we are using one message rather than 4. So you can literally delete all of these and just use the 1. And that's Q1. And this one here will be Q2. So you can see we've shrunk 4 of the rows into just 1 by using a message argument that contains all 4 and then selecting the appropriate one in a rule system. And you can optimize your games bit by bit as you create them, doing things like this. It keeps it more optimized, it keeps things more easier to edit because it's all here rather than selecting each individual numpad for each individual answer. And this one here will be Q6. This one here will be Q7. Q8. Q9. And Q10. There we go. So here we have correct answer, end question, and this one's toggled on based on the question we have. So that one we can keep as is. So now we can change the message here based on what's the correct answer. We can change the answers that are displayed in all 4. So we can say Q1, A1, A2, A3, answer 4, and that will all update in the rules, I believe. And this top row here is where we set the question. And can we even combine all of them? So if we had, instead of saying set answers, if we had Q set question, can we have set question and the answers in the same message broadcaster? Would that even be a thing? So let's test that out. So we're going to say set question, and we're going to have text as the question, and then we can have text as A1. We can have text as A2. We can have text as A3. And we can have text as A4. And we create. And then we have here question 1. And then we can have A1, A2, A3, A4. So Q1 will send a message to set question. So let's go into our rule system. And what we can do here is set question. and the value of the question will be the question. And then when we can do set question, we can say it's going to be A1, and it's going to be A2. This one here is going to be A3, and this one here is going to be A4. So what we've done now is we've even simplified it even further, and what that means is we don't need this whole second row anymore. We can delete that, and we can just use this now. So we have the question and the answers all in the one area, and we just duplicate, and again we simplify it. So this will be question 2, and this will be Q2. Duplicate, question 3, and this one here will be Q3. So this is the power of message arguments, and you can keep adding ways to simplify things just by combining them all in one message argument. The downside is you need to discover this early enough, because you can't add anything to an existing message argument, which means you need to go back and alter everything. So if you do work this out at the end of your experience, there's a lot more work to do to clean things up. So that's why it's good to have a small example at the beginning to see how it would work before you expand it into a full game. So that way you have all your base logic worked out, and you don't have to go back correcting 150 questions, for instance, because you've done a small sample of like 5 or 10 questions, worked it out, and then able to expand on it. So it's best to do the optimization at the beginning of your creation as much as you can, before you get too excited and make a full experience before you think about this process. Okay, so we can go ahead and test this out now. We've got everything now, questions and answers in the one row, and we have the correct answer in the next one. We can't combine this with this asset. They do have to be separate, because this one here needs a toggle, and it needs its own message broadcaster. So we'll go ahead and check if that worked. So question 3, you can see that's given our answers at the bottom. That's because I did multiple questions, and that's why that happened, but that is pretty much working now. So we'll do a quick math one, just for testing purposes. So 3 plus 3, and we can have, so blue's the correct answer, which is 6, 5, 7, 8. We can have 10 minus 8, and that is like 3, 2, 1, 0, and I believe red is correct. It would be easier to say A1 is correct, A2 is correct, so that way we can all have, instead of A1, A2, it'll be blue, red, green, yellow, so that way you know which one's associated with what. So I've made it a bit messy here again, but that's okay. So 5 times 5, and this one here is green, which is the third one, so we can have 20, 30, 25, 35. And we'll quickly test this out just to make sure it does work as intended. So this one here is blue, so I'm going to say blue. This one here is yellow, so I'm going to say yellow. This one here is red. So I'm basically putting the answer in the question just for testing. Green, green, red, red, green, green, and yellow. Yellow. So that all works. New question, blue. So far so good. And you can see we've made a already an RNG question game with the right answers, the tiles working, the cycling, all that sort of stuff. So we can see the answers at the bottom. Red is 2, so we're going to go over to 2. And yellow. And now we just need to have a score system. And a lobby system, so we can end the game, rejoin the game when it all ends. To clean all of this up. We're getting the same over and over again. The RNG is a bit funny. There we go. Green. Five times 5 is 25, which is green. So you can see there at the bottom which answer should be correct. So yeah, you can see it's all working quite well. All you need now is a range of questions and answers, a score system, and to teleport the players or end the game or when the questions finish. So that's something we can set up now. I'm going on the wrong one on purpose. And that's me eliminated. So yeah, not a bad little setup. Hey, why did that all disappear? Ah, that's because of this RNG here. So this won't be here during the game, which won't muck up our, because this one here is rolling a number again, which activates another toggle, and it doesn't know any better. So that's why. But there is our basics for this. Should we continue and see if we can make this a bit more fleshed out and then do a test on stream? Maybe play a few games. I probably want to set up these questions with and expand on them off stream, so that way when we play, you guys won't know what the questions are and what the answers are. It would be nice though to have more than 10. So if I want to expand on more questions, it's really quite easy. All I need to do is change this number to how many questions that I want. If I want 20, then I just need to expand this, duplicate, and make this, Q11, 11, and I really just keep doing that until 20. All of this stays the same as we're using message arguments, so we don't need to worry about setting the question or answers except for using the message broadcasters, which is all really quite easy now. Like, it's all on the one numpad, so I can put the question and the answers here. which is really good. I'll probably rename this so it's not A1, A2, A3, A4. I'll probably have it as blue, red, green and yellow, so I know which one is what without needing to think about it too much. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. What I can do here is probably set that up now. Set info. I would probably do that just to make it different. Text will be question and text will be blue, red, green and yellow, and click create. Now all of them have that correct info and I can see all the answers there, and I just need to change it in the rule system so it says set info here. Nice and easy. And then I do question, it will be blue, it will be red, it will be green, it will be yellow, and that's it. Now I don't have to get confused which one's which. This is all cycling just fine. I can make this pretty quick. I can make this a bit shorter. And the only thing you need to duplicate now is how many questions you want based on how many comparisons there are. So yeah, in the future, what I'm hoping to see is if I have like between 1 and 100, if I roll 60, it would be nice if the message 60 got sent out into the world instead of using 60 compares. So the number itself should be a message that gets sent out as a result, which then triggers message broadcasters, and that will make things a lot easier than needing to have 100 comparisons to get 100 different individual results to get the 100 questions. So yeah, that's the idea anyway. What else can we add to this? Let's do players joined, so we can go ahead and see how many players are left in the game. So players remaining, we have 0. We want to see that at the start of the game. Players remaining. Hey Crafter, thanks for the raid. Welcome to the stream. So we've got players remaining, and what we can do here is we'll add a number. So when we have player number, we're going to say players remaining, and we're going to add 1, and we'll duplicate this, and player left. So when the player leaves, we're going to -1, and what we're going to do here is compare players left, and we're going to add a comparison rule. It's one of my favorite rules. I use it quite a lot. And what we're going to do is check how many players are remaining, and if it is equals lower or equals 0, we're going to say end game. Alright, so end game. If a player joins, we're going to start a timer. Message to send. Player number. We're going to use a timer. We're going to have 10 seconds. And message to send is start game. When it hits 0, when a new player joins, it will probably start the timer again. So yeah, and then start game, and then start game should probably roll RNG Q, RNG Q. Something like that. Why not? I can rate it forward when I'm done. I haven't really done that before, or I haven't done it in a long time. So you'll probably have to give me the command for that and let me know who is streaming when I'm finished, and I'll definitely pass it on. So we've got player number, player left. So we need something now to show if a player has left the battlefield. So it takes away 1 from the counter. Is it just like /raid and then the username or channel name or whatever it is? Yep, perfect. Good to know. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to go volume. And we're going to make this a box. So we make it neat. I'm probably going to go 8 by 8 by 8. Probably even smaller. 6 by 6 by 6. That one here is perfect. I think that is good. And what we can do is have player left. When the player falls in the lava, they'll die, get sent out, and the game will end, I think. Let's get rid of this. And let's make sure that we got at the start of the game, we can see how many players are in. So we just need to check our variables. That's ticked. Okay. Alright, we'll save and test. Alright, so if I pick up a cup, we have 1 player in the game. I think there's a countdown happening. It would be nice if it was visualized, so I'll have a look at doing that now. And we have a question. And players remaining is now 0. So I want to end the game at this point. And you can see it says -1. So I'm able to trigger that by jumping in. I will probably stop people from being able to do that. And we'll make this shorter, so that way people fall in below. Is enough. something like that. And I'll put up a wall around this area so other players cannot interfere with that. Okay. I think we're good now. We just need to add questions, I think. Also, we need to end the game when there's no players left. So we've got the start in. We need the countdown. And then we need to end the game when there's no more players remaining. So we'll sort that out now. So end game is what we will do for setting text. Maybe we can do it over here. So we'll have a message broadcaster, and then what we can do here is have end game. We'll send something to the rules that is set question, set info. And we can have game has ended, and that should be enough for that. Now we need a countdown, and because we're using a timer, maybe we can display that timer here. So time, can that be displayed on a banner? I never really tested that part. I'm pretty sure it can. Maybe we can have that on a banner. Maybe the banner needs to... Now, because a banner has a timer, right? And I can't change the timer. So if a second player joins, the banner will be displayed awkwardly again, because if you trigger it twice, it will do it twice, but it waits for the cooldown of the first one to finish and then does the second one. Yeah. Give me a moment. Maybe we can do this a different way. Maybe, just maybe, I should just do banner. Time and duration should be yeah, 10 seconds. Maybe I should get rid of this. and do a comparison and have start countdown maybe, and then here we can we don't even need a comparison, we can just have start countdown, and I do need that timer actually, I don't know why I deleted it. Start timer, start countdown, we can have time and the duration will be 10 seconds, and the message to send will be RNG queue, which will be the game to begin. So let me test this out now and see if we got a loop. If we got a loop, we're almost done. Okay. Okay, looks like it works. Game has ended, and we don't want the new RNG to kick in where it gives a new answer when a game has ended. So we need to stop that cycle, and we need to stop the variable. So we can get rid of that, and so we can stop here with end game, so it doesn't show up, and end game. Okay, that's good. We got here Q1, Q2, so that way we can at least see information for the questions, so I can see what's actually happening. And as you can see, we've put a game together in less than 2 hours again, when it comes to something basic, just a simple concept. Obviously needs more time, polishing, putting extra questions, expanding a bit more on the rules, but we've got the loop happening, we've got the fundamentals happening. Alright, so I've got question 6. Okay, we don't have game has ended popping up, and we haven't reset the game because it stopped the questions from cycling, so that's good. So what we can do here is when the game ends, we can reset it. So what we can do here is we can duplicate this, and we can have a game end, and we can have a timer that lasts I don't know, say 6 seconds. And what we can do here is do is it new question? What's the thing that resets the tiles? Let's have a look. New question, and we can do say reset game to bring the tiles back again after the game has finished. So we'll go back to our rules and change that to reset game. like that. And then we can say spawn cups. So after 6 seconds we can spawn the cups, which is where the players can click to join, and then we can have a banner, because we have game has ended, end question, end game, that's fine. And I did have a display. I think I need to put another one. So here, game has ended with end game, set info. Okay. So end game sets the info, but we need the banner to display. And 6 seconds is enough, or maybe 5 seconds. So we can say end game. And the banner can display for 3 seconds or 4 seconds. And that should be fine. And we need spawn cups to be the thing that brings these cups in. So what we can do here is we just need to save these as presets. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. See ya, Pickaxe Master. Thanks for joining. Have a good one. So we can say P1. I'll go ahead and save that as a preset. This one here will be P2 for player 2. This one here will be P3. This one here will be P4. This one here will be P5. P6 for player 6. Player 7. Player 8. I probably should have had a def for these cups. That's alright, I'll set that up now and just need to go over it again. Player 10. Okay, now we got collectibles. And we'll put plant behavior on them, and we can do RNGQ to get rid of them. So they'll die with RNGQ. And we can add a sound to it as well. Generic pop is fine, and it will die with RNGQ. So as soon as the first question pops up, they will die. So I'll go ahead and save them one by one again, so that way they do remove when the game begins. Whoops, this one is 6. Alright, so we've got our cups. And we just want to kill them off and spawn them. when a new game begins, or I think we said spawn cups as the message. Just going to double check that. Spawn cups, yep. So what I'll do here is I will duplicate these, make them invisible, no collisions, remove collectibles, and we're going to remove the plants. We're going to make them an asset spawner. We're going to use presets. We're going to edit, and we're going to spawn cups, and they're all good to go, except add in now the presets that come out for each one. So P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, P9, and P10. Cool, cool, cool. Go ahead and save and check that out. So we've got the cycle now, I think. So I can pick up a cup. I've picked up 2 cups, so I'll be definitely rearranging these cups so that's not possible. And these cups should disappear as soon as the first question begins. Stops the players from joining once the game begins. And we've got Q10. And I think Q10 is yellow. It is. Q1 is blue, but let's go green, or even yellow again. End the game. Because the game has ended, yeah, I don't know why that didn't reset. Let me just double check the rules. Maybe it was I relied on the timer that's being used already over here. So maybe I have to create a new timer. So reset game. If the players are equal 0, end game. Yeah, I don't know where I use in reset game. Let me just have a quick look. So we've got end game. I have reset game, but I think it needs to be end game. End game, and I'm going to give a new timer here. Just so it's not overlapping something else. And spawn cups, banner. The banner doesn't display. End game, display variable. I don't want to display the time, I want to display text. And I think that is Q. Alright, let's try that again. Question 2 is red. I won't stand on red, I'll stand in the middle, see if it pushes me in the right area or off the map. Game has ended. Cool. Spawns happened again, so that's good. but we didn't reset the tiles. So we're gonna have to check that out. So we have reset game here. Let me just put a better message here so it resets it properly. So we didn't end up using this message. So we've got spawn cups, so let's just use that. So when a cup spawn, so do these tiles, and it kind of resets everything. And I think now we've got the cycle happening. We'll make these a bit separated so we can't collect them. Collecting two at once ruins the game. Q3 I think is green and yellow. It's green, so that's good. Q6, I don't know what that is, but I'm going blue. Game has ended. It spawned the cups again, but it didn't do the tiles for some reason. Let's have a look what's going on. So end question, middle walls, that's all fine, I think. So spawn cups, that's for the middle walls. We want the collisions to be false. Yes, that's correct. So this one here, and we want all the tiles to pop up again. So this one here will be spawn cups as well. So I kind of missed that one. Yeah. I could also have rising cups, or even going into a hole to pick up the cup. Might be the way to go. Pressing end. But we need a cup in there, so that's only one deep. If it's too deep, like two blocks deep, players won't be able to get out. Okay, that's fine. Drop. And what we can do is stack these now. We know these work. They can just go directly in the middle. Press end on the keyboard to drop the asset that you got selected to the ground. Whoops, that one went straight through. Almost done. It's a silly way of doing it, but it's just a quick way for now. I can probably have a ladder that each player needs to climb to pick up their cup. That's probably a better method, but for now, this is what I'm doing, and I can always adjust it down the track. It's just so when we do a multiplayer test, no one person can pick up 2 cups, because that would break it. Alright, so we've got our landmines around the map. And that will respawn now between each game. We could have a scoring system. I don't really have a proper questions added either. So we got that sort of work cut out for me. But yeah. Hey Panda, good to see you. So yeah, now we can do a 10-player game where it has multiple questions and the floor will drop if you're on the wrong one. And everything loops really well now. If I do /respawn, it will say game has ended because there's no more players in the middle. It's recognized that we're no longer in there. So if a player leaves during the game, it's not going to break it. But for some reason, these tiles are not displaying properly. I guess because the question ended. And yes, so this needs to have a message to stop it from happening. So we're going to turn off with a message spawn cups, or maybe even end game, and spawn cups. Cool. Let's try that again. Now that I've hopped out during the countdown, it still thinks there's players in there because I haven't done the check properly. So if I do the check as the game has picked its question, then it works. So we'll just wait for the 0 and wait for the question to pop up. Okay, let's do respawn. Now game has ended. Cups have respawned, and I don't think question 10. So I got a bit of a cycle issue when it comes to players leaving at odd times. So that is another problem I'm going to have to sort out. how do I stop that from happening? So even though I have end game here, it's still recognizing that there's a question toggled on. So I don't know why that's the case. We're going to go have a look and see what I can discover. So we've got end game. When does end game occur? It's when players are 0. So let's do players left. Remaining, we compare. If it equals 0, we end game, which we have done. And we have end question. So this here is happening. Yes, I see. So that's happening regardless of end game. So we need a middleman for that. Because when end question happens, after the 7 seconds, end question is happening, the 3 seconds happens, and it's not end game, it's doing a new question, because there's been no middleman. So end question here will be end question check. So that will go here, end question check, and then I will need a middleman. So I'll do something over here, duplicate message broadcaster. Yeah, so toggle, it will be on message broadcaster, and what we want here is end question check, and it will be end question to the rules. We'll toggle it on with RNGQ. Actually, let me check the rules again, because there might be a weakness with that one still. So the game countdown, start countdown. So start countdown is when we want to do it. And then end game is when we want to turn it off. We'll go ahead again and check countdown, because as the countdown is happening and the countdown hits 0, it will do RNGQ. So I can do RNGQ check, and again we can have a middleman, duplicate, edit logic, and we can do RNGQ check, and we get RNGQ, and we can keep the same thing, turn it on with start countdown, end game, and end game happens when we have no players left. So each time a player leaves, it will check, and if it does that, player left -1, compare list, end game if it's 0 or less. Okay, so let's save that and try that again, and yeah. So we're just ironing out some bugs to stop exploitations. So if I can respawn and hop out. The game has ended. We'll go back in. Yep, the set of cycle is working. It's saying that I got 2 players remaining now, which shouldn't be the case. So what did I do wrong there? If the game has ended, we should have a set player base to 0, but this should automatically -1 anyway when I left. So player left. Interesting. Let's double check that one. I think it's this asset here, player left. Yep. Let's try that one more time. So player 1, respawn. Now it says player 0, which is good. Game has ended. I'll pick up the cup. Okay, so the cups haven't disappeared, and they should be killed. And they're now stacking up because it requires the first RNG. So what we need here is a different kill message. So maybe a kill message for end game, basically. So we'll probably need to put that on each one and then save over to preset again, because they're doubling up, because there are points where this doesn't get triggered anymore because of the modifications we made. So we're just going to go ahead and clean this up a bit to prevent that from happening. End game, cool. Let's do that for this one. End game. That's why it's always good to test your games and try to exploit your own games. Try to break them, because others will. So you may as well do it yourself and fix it before others can break it on you. And that way you don't have to worry about it. So P5, P3, P4. Nope, that one is P2. P1. P6. P7. P8. And P9. And the one thing I want to do just to safety measure, it's to change the players remaining to 0 using a rule system. Just in case, again, there's some sort of glitch with the numbers or something doesn't work, so when a game ends it will say players remaining 0, just in case. So we'll go to our rule system and we'll set a set number variable, and when we have end game we want to set players remaining to 0. Okay, now if we test this out, we got 1 player remaining. If we respawn, the player there's no more cups. The game has ended. New cups have respawned. Awesome. So that should all disappear as soon as the question pops up. So you'll see the cup on the left is still there for some reason, even though we have a kill message. Now it disappears, and the tiles didn't disappear with the message. So there's a countdown for the question, and now the tiles aren't disappearing. I got quite a few bugs. I've got it working at the beginning, but trying to problem solve exploits has stopped the questions from working. So what we need to do here is to turn this one on is Q10. New question, end game, spawn cups. And this one should be turning on based on the rules. So we've got RNGQ, RNGQ, compare numbers. So we've got Q10. We don't have this one here, we don't need it. That's just an example, but that wouldn't have affected anything. So that would have toggled on Q10. Then this would be counted down, and then end question check. So maybe here we can say display Q. So we're going to display Q. Whoops. And we're going to use a message broadcaster to display Q. So let's do that and see if that makes a solution for us. So we can do Q1 and display Q. And we basically want to do it for all of them. So Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, Q8, Q9, and Q10. Alright, let's try that again. See if it works this time. So the cups aren't disappearing. Let's see if the tiles disappear as it should. It doesn't. Now Q10 is displayed. So it's kind of ignored the first question. I broke something somewhere. And now nothing is actually working. Damn. That's no good. Message required is end question. End question. So end question check. Send a message end question. Ah, I see what's happened. So I have here end question, but it's only sending to the rules. I need to send it to all. So this is what's happening here. Okay. Now it's going to work because I made that middleman. Now it should be fine because it was just sent into the rule system and I was relying on that message to do other things, not in the rule system. So now the cups have disappeared. We have Q2. Q2 is red. After the banner disappears, there we go. The answer is red. Q1 is blue, but I'm going to go to yellow and die and make sure that all works. Yes, the game has ended. And now everything has reset. Alright, that's good. Let's respawn. It's saying no players remaining. The game has ended. Alright, we're back in. Alright. No new questions been displayed. Question 5, there we go. Let's respawn. And now game has ended. Okay, cups are now spawned back. Tiles haven't disappeared. Okay, looks like we have fixed all the bugs. And the loop's working as it should. And now we can put in questions and answers. And it's all good. Oh, that was lucky. I didn't know the answer to that. I think yellow's the right answer for this one, but I'm going to stand in the middle. Like if you're in the border or in the middle, it should push you off. That was a lucky one. That was also lucky. Not so lucky that time. So as you can see, it's all working out quite well. All we need now is questions and players to test it out. Awesome guys, awesome. So far so good. So we got our cycle, we got our lobby, we got our questions, we got our resets, and now we just need to fill in these and give it a play run. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate some questions off stream and expand this from 10 to say 50. We're just going to fill up the rules system pretty much until the board is full. I can probably even get like 60-70 questions in. We're not even halfway through and we got a few rules in here already, which is not bad at all. And then next stream we will play. So we've got all the logic that you need to set it up yourself. So if you want to make a quiz game like this, all the info is here in this stream to set it up. But next stream I'll have questions set up so you guys don't know what the questions are or the answers, because if you see me setting that up, you'll know what it all is when you're playing, and it's not that fun. And we'll have a little competition to win some NFTs and catalysts for the winners of this game. I might even do a stream sooner than next week, even if it's just on my channel, if there's no spots available on streaming on the Sandbox Twitch. But we'll sort something out we'll have a little competition, but as you can see, the game is now working. It should work multiplayer, but we need a test to see how it reacts for each individual. See if there's any additional bugs that we need to iron out. But yeah. But this is the logic you need to get something like this set up. Okay, so let's see if anyone's streaming, and that way I can join raid someone else's stream for once. OG Shakespeare is streaming, so maybe we can raid him, see how it goes. So what I do, just /raid OG Shakespeare. Yeah, perfect. Alright guys, well thanks for tuning in today and hanging around for a couple of hours or so. Hope you learnt something. I certainly did. And yeah, I'll stream again very soon and we'll play this game out. I'll add some sounds and music and all sorts of things and maybe 50 or so questions. And we'll, yeah, test it out. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.